This is the first video in a series which shows how the Eclipse IPD generator for iSpec 2200 works and how you can use it to very quickly generate the IPL structure from a spreadsheet which contains the necessary information to enable you to do that. This video is the introductory video which is going to give you an overview of the actual application. So we're going to be able to show you what the Eclipse IPD generator does, a look at its interface, the steps that you go through to configure it, and then the build function. The IPD generator is designed to work with iSpec 2200, which is an SGML-based specification. And what this application does is enables the user to map the DTD elements, or the attributes even, to cells in an XLS spreadsheet. The mapping can be modified when you need to do it. The thing about the XLS is commonly regarded as the spec for an Excel spreadsheet. It is necessary to convert the spreadsheet into a CSV file for the purposes of working with this application. So a bit after you've done the mapping, what you do then is to use the mapping file to convert the spreadsheet contents into an IPL SGML file. And it does this by locating the data that you've mapped and bringing that into the actual XML or SGML file. If you haven't mapped a piece of the data, you can actually enter that at build time if you like. You can see that the interface for this application is very simple. It's just 3 buttons actually. You'll notice that there's also a menu there, and you can access the commands via the menu if you wish. From the interface you can see that there are 3 main buttons there: New, Modify and Generate. Now clearly the new is for a user to generate a new mapping file from a spreadsheet. So that's what you would normally use that for. The modify, if you've already got a spreadsheet and you decided to add more things to the spreadsheet, then clearly you need to modify the mapping. So that's how you do that, through that modify. And the generate button enables you to pick the mapping file and the spreadsheet, and the application will then generate the IPL page block. From this graphic you can see that there really are 3 main steps in the configuration process. The first step is where we actually locate the figure information in the spreadsheet. And then the next one, we actually select the data heading section. This is the bit which names the columns for later information for the actual IPL data later on in the spreadsheet. And the third section is really to locate the start of the data fields in the spreadsheet. Once you've done that, then you can start using the application. One other thing about the configuration steps is that you must realize that although the application maps almost all the DTD to the content of the spreadsheet, if any part of the DTD is not present in the spreadsheet, mandatory contents can be entered at generation time. And the other thing which is important is that the spreadsheet content must be located in the same place for each mapping file related CSV file. These, of course, the CSV files can be created by a query or an export from a parts database, so that's not a difficult thing to organize. The building function itself interrogates the spreadsheet according to the mapping file and extracts the various items of the data required for the IPL. And then what it does then is to generate the IPL page block with the information located in the correct points in the elements. We feel that it's important that users should see that something's actually happening, and so what we've done is provided you with a window in which feedback is provided. And the feedback indicates the current state of the build, saying what's happening at any particular time. But it also flags up any missing information. It also flags up errors in the build process, and also indicates that actually the building parts the progress through the lines of data. So if there's 100 lines of parts list data, you'll see entries 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3 of 100, and you know exactly where you are in the build process. When you get to the end of the build process, what it's happened is you now have a completed IPL page block conforming to iSpec 2200. And what you have to do then is to get that page block into an editor and copy the structure and put it into the CMM or ACMM under construction. When you've got the IPL data in the CMM and saved safely, you can then use the application that you use for editing to generate the various tables that are required by the parts list. Of course, in our application, we would recommend that you use the Eclipse iSpec 2200 for FrameMaker, which is ideal for that purpose. This is the end of this introductory video, which gives you an overview of the operation of the IPL Builder. You can now go and have a look at the further videos which highlight various individual parts of the operation of this application.